the one thing I like about the Climate Leadership Council is that it brings many people who would never come together, organizations, economists, and others, over a common goal. And it was interesting to hear, how Senator Hickenlooper was influenced by George Shultz. And that's the way our company was. We were influenced by the commonality of a diverse set of members of the CLC. And I hope that the country can come together, because when you talk about a carbon price, I think the most effective way to do that is to do that on a nationwide basis. Unfortunately, if you don't do it on a nationwide basis, all it does is pushes the problem into somebody else's backyard. And so if you put a price in one region of the country, then generators in another region who don't have that price will actually get more runtime, and you'll see an actual and potentially an even increase in the amount of fossil fuels used, and you might actually see an increase in greenhouse gas emissions. So the one, I think, critical thing on a carbon price is that it should be nationwide, which is going to require our federal government to take this action. And I'm glad to hear a senator like Senator Hickenlooper take leadership and ownership of that, and I hope that happens. The other thing I think is incredibly important that you mentioned earlier and it's in your paper is that capital formation is incredibly important in competitive electric markets. You have to be able to raise capital, and a carbon price is transparent. It's also across the economy, and so if you have uncertainty and a lack of clarity and lack of timing in competitive markets, it's a recipe for disaster, because you can't raise capital. The one thing that a carbon price allows us to do is to raise the capital because of the transparency and the certainty that it offers to markets. And it also creates an even playing field, which is also incredibly important in capital markets, is that they want to know that all the competitors have an even playing field. So, carbon pricing to me is really the linchpin, not just in the electric sector, but across the economy. There's also been a tremendous amount of modeling that's been done that shows that mandates and subsidies just do not get, because they are also local or statewide, they do not get the kind of reductions in carbon that you would get from a nationwide price on carbon. And then the last thing, which is a big deal for me, is you got to make sure that the companies in the United States are still competitive. So this border carbon adjustment is an absolute must. And this will increase prices, by the way. A carbon price will increase prices, which is why the dividend concept is so important to have in this. And that's why we are a founding member of the Climate Leadership Council, and why we believe that the formula that they've come up with, which is simple, but could be very effective.